Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Iris and this is my lock update. Currently I am 41 months locked and it's been an up and down this year with my locks, and I've been experiencing weak locks on my journey at this point. So I just was considering cutting my locks, and I didn't want to completely quit the lock journey. That was not my goal in cutting them, and I wanted to cut them into a bob. And the only reason I wanted to do that was because I kept seeing a progression of the weak locks with each month, occurring throughout the year. So I was starting to feel like clearly the ends have got to go, because I didn't notice it in the mid shaft, I didn't notice it from my root area. So I'm a person where if something's wrong, especially when it comes to my hair, I just feel like I get the urge to just like cut it and just be done. I'm not a person that necessarily will hold on to something, especially if it's showing signs of like something is wrong here. So I did try with some of them to hold on to some of them and try to go through the journey with them being weak and me watching them start to separate and start to thin out. And a couple of them did come out in my hands, so that let me know that cutting them was the best option for me, in my opinion. So I've been cutting constantly throughout the months of this year. So the most I've cut within a month has been about 20 locks, and that was this month. So it started out like maybe like 3, 4, 5, and then as the year progressed, it started to get higher and higher with each month. And then when it got to double digits, like 10, that's when I was like, no, something is wrong here, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do, because I know I don't want to stop my lock journey. I know that is not my end goal here in cutting them, but those were the thoughts that were running through my head and dealing with the weakness in my locks this year. And I wanted to come and put an update here, so when we come into 2024, I can reference back to this one and see where I am, because now that I've cut, the majority of my locks, there's probably a few that I haven't cut, but I've mostly cut the majority of my hair. Is this going to remedy the weakness in my hair, or do I need to take further steps going forward if it doesn't? So that's pretty much what's going on with my hair right now. And to be honest, it's been making me feel a bit defeated. I'm not going to lie to you. I felt like I failed at my journey in a sense, because I just didn't understand why this was happening. And I do understand I am color treated. That is the obvious that you can see. But a part of me feels like it's more than that, or it may not just be color. It may be something else. Maybe it's the size of my lock. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping from this point on, I can see where my locks go from this point and see how else I can deal with the issue, or what else I decide to do with my hair in general. So that's pretty much for what I have to say about the updates on my locks at 41 months. So let me go ahead and give you a 360. So now that we're a bit closer, you can pretty much see how much cutting I've been doing. You can see I have a lot more layers. And let me get something straight right off the bat is I don't hate my hair at this point. I don't hate my journey. I was just concerned about what was going on with my hair. And I feel like that's a natural way to feel about your hair or anything in life that shows up and it looks like something is wrong with it. You kind of get concerned. You might get a little bit, overwhelmed with it and feel a little bit disappointed in a certain type of way, depending on what it is. But I still love my journey. I still love my hair, but I now do have all these layers in my hair, and I've had layers anyway. Since the beginning of my journey, I've had layers, but I did feel like they were getting longer and starting to catch up with the longer, you know, pieces or section of my hair, which is the darker half. That is the longest set of locks that I have. So I was hoping that, that would continue to happen, but since I've had to go in and start cutting, as you can see, it's created now even more layers. And especially in this bang area, which is where I've done the most of my cutting from the beginning of this year. And even on these side pieces here, you can see where I've been trimming, cutting down the lock. And I based it off of how it felt and if I saw the separation happening. It would separate kind of like, I want to say like shredded wheat. It would just be together, and then in that section it would look like it was doing this, like it was starting to come undone, or the thread was starting to unravel, so to speak. It was kind of looking like that. So those locks definitely got cut. Then some of them that just were see-through, things like that, they also got cut. So I kind of based it off of that. And I do have some that are still questionable. Like this one is still questionable to me. So I did, decide to leave some of them and maybe see if they would still thrive and still be okay. But I'm aware that I may have to go in and deal with certain ones because they're giving me those signs of weakness here at the ends. So I just went through one by one and decided to cut the ones I felt like with those reasonings and things like that. So, and to be honest, when I was considering cutting it into a bob, I know one of you were concerned about my layers, and then I was just going to have this blunt cut. That wasn't exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking I was just going to cut the longer section and have it meet where the longest shorter lock was, if that makes sense. So where my layers end, like maybe like the longest one, I would have considered cutting it there. So maybe like right here, and then about this much would be taken off. I wouldn't necessarily go for a blunt cut. I would have went for individually now going through and cutting each one from that point on, but I would have just got rid of mostly the dark area and cut off about an inch or so, and then start managing the rest of my locks from there. That was my idea when I said I wanted to cut it into a bob. And I don't know, that may happen in the future, but I decided to give it a chance. I decided to, just deal with the ones that were showing me issues and cut them off. So this is where I'm at right now. But other than that, she still looks very beautiful to me, and I feel like she looks even more unique now that she has all these extra layers. I feel like I follow so many people who have those locks that are, they have no layers, they're straight down, they're thick, and they're all just one dimension. And if they have some that are, you know, not the same size, kind of uneven, they still have the majority of their locks looking like they all match and they go together, if that makes sense. But I feel like my hair is just uniquely different. It just has all these different layers, and I'm okay with that. I embrace that. You know, everyone's hair is going to look different. We all can't have the same hair type, texture, you know, and we all can't have our locks all look the same either, even if we have a similar size. So I'm embracing and I love my uniqueness with my locks right now, especially with the new cut and things like that. And I feel like she isn't doing bad. I do think I've achieved some length. I may be wrong, but you know, I have been cutting it, but I do see that she's still growing and she's still thriving in that sense. So I am happy about that. My roots are doing well. Like I said, the mid shaft is doing well. It was just those ends were just crazy. And as far as the color goes, I'm still using the temporary colors. You know, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm not never or not going to ever color my locks again. I would be lying to you because I don't know what I'm going to do in 2024. I may come through and color these roots, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to tell you that. Color is still on the table for me. But right now, I just feel like I want it to grow out with the color that it has and keep up the red. I am definitely in love with the red color. I think it just gives it so much dimension, and I'm still in love with doing the two-tone for that reason because I do love the dimension it gives my locks. Like I said, I just feel like it just gives it uniqueness that's different, you know? I like to be different. I like to try new things. I'm not afraid to, you know, experiment with color. I've never been afraid to do that. So I can't tell you that I'm going to completely stop that. So I can tell you right now, I'm just going to continue with the temporary colors, the semi-permanent colors to maintain the red that I have. And I am just dealing and working with letting it grow out at my roots, which I've noticed that my roots have become unruly again in a sense because I just believe my new growth is coming through and my new growth is not tamed. It hasn't been tampered with. It's just giving me its natural state. So I am noticing a bit more webbing when it comes to doing my retwists like I was in the beginning of my journey. Noticing a lot more separation with the growing away from my locks because of that also. So nothing new. I've already experienced dealing with those things throughout my journey. So I'm just back to, you know, maintaining my hair in that state again because now I've decided to let my roots grow out more than I usually would because by now I would have colored it. I would have added some color to it. But I'm deciding, you know, let it grow out. Let me give it some time and see what happens, you know. And I do like the transition from the black hair into the red and into the dark purplish colored back hair or dark burgundy color in the back. But other than that, you guys, it's just, she's just doing well in a sense, you know. I don't think she's doing completely horrible. Other than that, she's thriving. I mean, she's still doing amazing. I still feel like she looks beautiful. Like I said, I don't hate her at all. It was just a domino effect that it just kept happening more and more and more, and I was like, what is it gonna give, you know? When is it gonna stop? Should I just cut it? Like, I just go to drastic measures sometimes and I'm like, forget it, I'm about to cut it because if it's gonna keep doing this, there's no point in me snip, 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 one. You know, I'll just do a whole bulk and be done. But I decided to calm down and just let her do her thing. And if I feel like I need to snip certain ones, they're starting to separate and thin out, then I'll cut it. So that's where I'm at. I also want to say I appreciate all of you that chimed in, gave me your advice, gave me your experiences dealing with your weak locks or thinning or, you know, things like that. I do appreciate it. I do take in consideration what you're saying. And based on, you know, my journey and how I feel about my locks, I kind of go from there on what I'm going to do. So I really do appreciate you chiming in, letting me know what you think of my hair, and like, girl, what is the majority is like, girl, what is it? It looks great, you know. But like I said in my other video, it's just, you know, when people can say something is good or great on you, and in the mirror you're looking at yourself like, is it great? Like, I don't know, why is it doing all this, you know? But I am on a journey. I've never had locks before. This is my first run with locks, so I don't intend to do another loc journey. I don't intend to stop it. Like I said, it feels like forever. I said that in previous videos, but I don't know. One day I could decide to come on here and tell you I'm done. But for right now, I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep letting you know what's going on with that. And I know I feel like sometimes I'm so transparent with what's going on with them that it feels like it's a lie. I'm not going to lie to you, but I feel like if I'm not as transparent as I am, and you were wondering what it's like to be on the journey with locks, or you were considering getting locks if you don't have locks and you watch me, what could go down? Now, this doesn't have to happen on your journey. It probably is not happening on your journey if you are following me with locks, but this is my experience, and I hope it helps. I hope it sheds lights on, you know, a different aspect of fine hair locks. I don't know. But I'm going to continue to try to be as honest as I can with my hair and how I'm feeling about it. And it's just life, you know, everything can't be streamlined. Everything can't go as we think it should go. There's going to be hurdles to be jumped over. And this is just my journey and my experience. And it may not be the norm. I may look like I'm doing the most. I don't know, but this is just my experience and I'm sharing it with a bunch of you. So it's like, it is a scary thing to do on my end. I'm going to be honest, but I feel like, hey, if it helps somebody, I don't mind doing it. And if it helps me learn from hearing you guys talk about your experiences and share with me what's going on with your hair, I love it. I think it's a great community to have, and I'm thankful that you all are on the journey with me also. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye, guys.